eyes glistening with expectation. "I'm sorry, Felix." She shook her head at him. "We can't go without your leash. I must have left it somewhere, though I can't imagine where that could be. I'm sure I hung it up right there." She jerked a thumb at the nail, and Felix tilted his head on one side. "Yes, I know. You want to go for your walk. I want to take you. But we can't go without your leash." Every time she said the word go, the dog's ears pricked up with expectation. "Look at me," she thought. "I'm talking out loud to a dog." Anxiety stabbed at her, and she quickly suppressed it. Lots of people talk to their dogs, right? After all, dogs are family, like kids. She'd been talking to dogs all her life. It didn't mean she was losing her mind. It was just that a lot of weird things had been happening lately, like misplacing items, forgetting where she'd put them, and finding them in odd places. True, she'd been under a lot of stress. Owning an English tea room was no picnic, even if it had been her lifetime dream. After all, she was past 60, and a little old in the tooth to have taken on a business that demanded so much energy. Aware of the doubts creeping in, she made an effort to pull herself together. "I'm being paranoid again," she told Felix, who immediately leapt to his feet, furiously wagging his tail. Vivian sighed. "Okay, let's go look for your leash." On the word go, Felix made a mad dash for the living room, bounded over to his toy box, and started dragging out a ball, a squeaky bear, and the rope snake that had been a gift from Hal. At the thought of Hal Douglas, Vivian's spirits lifted. Her connection with the owner of the Furry Fun Pet Supplies store down the street had become solid, fun, and comforting, without all the trappings of an intimate relationship. If what she suspected was true and Hal wanted more, so far he hadn't pressured her. He was keeping it light, and that was just what she needed right now. Something caught her eye, and all thoughts of Hal vanished as she stared at the leash in Felix's mouth. What in the world? She took the leash from him, her mind straining to recall last night. True, she had been tired after a busy day in the tea room. Jenna Ramsey, one of her efficient assistants, had called in to say she had car trouble and was late getting to work, which meant that Gracie Jackson, the other helper, had to take on Jenna's duties, leaving Vivian to fill in where she could while still making sandwiches and brewing tea. By the time she'd been ready to take Felix for his walk, all she'd wanted to do was collapse in front of the TV with a glass of wine and a plate of spaghetti bolognese. But she could have sworn she'd hung Felix's leash on that nail. In the 3 weeks since she'd adopted the dog, some things had become habit, and hanging the leash was one of them. Why on earth would she suddenly change course and drop it in his toy box? Shaking her head, she fastened the leash to Felix's collar. Not an easy task, since he wriggled around with excitement at the prospect of his outing. Fresh air, Vivian decided, was exactly what she needed to clear her head. The walk across the beach, with the sea breeze bathing her face, never failed to restore her energy and enthusiasm. There was nothing more invigorating than the fragrance of sand and seaweed, the pounding of waves breaking along the shoreline, and the cries of seagulls diving for food. In her opinion, the Oregon coast was one of the most beautiful landscapes in the world, with its backdrop of the forested range of mountains, creamy sands, and towering rocks rising from a restless ocean. All that grandeur could revitalize even the most depressed state of mind. Half an hour later, she arrived back home, feeling refreshed and invigorated. Late October weather usually meant rain, but that morning remained dry, though the heavy clouds threatening the ocean promised a wet afternoon. Exhausted from his explorations of tide pools and seashells, Felix flopped down on the rug in the living room and promptly fell asleep. Vivian glanced at her watch. She'd just had time for a bowl of cereal before she had to start baking the pastries for afternoon tea. The willow-patterned tea room had become renowned for its delicious cakes and pastries, all baked by her in the tea room's kitchen below. Thanks to her British mother, Vivian's recipes were authentic, as was the imported tea from England. Living her lifelong dream, she strove to create as close to the English experience as possible, and judging from the many compliments she received,